All right, lads. Hey, Diz, what are you rocking? What sort of T-shirt's that?
G'day, Flem. Yeah, I just thought I'd just pull out a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. I actually found it at the op shop the other day. I thought that looked pretty cool, and yeah, thought I'd give it a crack. I wanted to bring some music, the Star Wars theme tune, but not to worry. But yeah,
I remember I watched
cool.
Star Wars and Return of the Jedi. I didn't watch Empire Strike Back till like 30 years later.
Well, it's the best one. It's the best one of the lot, man.
But doesn't Han Solo die in it? He was my favourite.
Well, he goes into the cryo freeze, doesn't he?
Oh, sorry, that's a spoiler alert. Pidge, sorry. Have you... have I just spoiled?
You have.
And, mate, you're looking fantastic in that plain white shirt.
Yeah, so no, I really went to the shop, sort of found a nice one. It's a little just off-white. It's the off-white one, in for Richie Benno.
Thanks,
again.
Rich.
But I'm enjoying yours. That's one of the early one-day ones. I was just noticing Warnie's back here, but no, I think that's even earlier. That one you've got on.
So would this be our debut year?
I reckon it's very close.
Yeah, 93, 94. Once again, it's like the 96 World Cup Australian shirt. It is so heavy. Like a hot summer.
Yeah.
Like, man, this could be carpet.
Yeah, they don't make it like they used to.
All right, let's get into it, boys.
Got him.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fast Bowling Cartel podcast. Just three old quicks, just chewing the fats, pumping up the fast bowling, the art and bagging batsmen, basically. My name's Damien Fleming. We will be going through the Super 8 stage in the T20 World Cup, have a little bit of review of the Australians, or the Aussies' performance in that World Cup. Have a chat about who'll make the semi-finals. We've got our VB Longneck Hard Worker award to give out. Dizzy's got to give me a spell. Ooh. And then we're going to finish off with top 5 T20 batsmen of all time. Joining me as always, two absolute legends, Glenn McGrath, Jason Gillespie. So good to see you boys again.
Yeah, good to see you, Flem. Diz.
G'day, boys.
Hey, before we get into the T20 review, I sent it on socials yesterday. It was Mike Whitney's 67th birthday yesterday. And it got me reflecting. I mean, for the New South Wales players, he was like a Merv Hughes type, larger than life. And he actually had a long career, about 12 years for Australia, but there was a lot of gaps in between. But geez, he had a lot of highlights, debuting in 81 from league cricket. Then he roomed with Dennis Silly, which when we get him on the pod, we'll get him to talk about. I was there the day he blocked out Sir Richard Hadley, and we know, if you were both in the same team, Pidge, you're batting number 10, aren't you? Witt's number 11. And then he got 2 7-fers at test level as well. But more than that, the remarks afterwards, even the great Joe Angel remarked, Nathan Bracken liked it, just how good a bloke Mike Whitney was.
Yeah, no, exactly right, Flem. He was a brilliant bloke, still is. He's in his mid-60s now. I catch up with him every now and then. He never changes, just that passion, that energy. My first season for New South Wales was Mike Whitney's last season, with Big Roy. And just he was incredible, just the passion and energy that he had. Every game we'd start, he'd tell us, it's such a passionate New South Wales, supporter and blue bag. It was New South Wales, the best state, county, province, anywhere in the world. And he'd just say it with such passion and go out there but he'd just give everything. Left armour, would run in hard all day, swing the ball. I think of myself very privileged to think that I played my first season with Whit in his last.
Yeah. Diz, what are your memories of you must have just missed Mike Whitney?
Look, I just missed Whit, but I've got to know him over the years. Like a wonderful guy. I think he's been president of Randwick Petersham Cricket Club for the best part of 30 years. So it shows his passion, continued passion for the game. I actually caught up with him last year. We did we spent a day together shooting an ad for a car company. And so we spent the day in southwestern Sydney out in a farm. And it was interesting, like having lunch with a lot of the crew. We're all sitting around chatting, and a lot of them are on the younger side. So they didn't actually know much about Whit. So I was kind of explaining that this guy played Test cricket, but also he was the host of Who Dares Wins with Tanya Zaynetta, and for many, many years. And they go, oh, what's that? So we ended up, someone brought out their iPad and their phone, and we typed it in, and all of a sudden all this Mike Whitney stuff came up, and they all start looking at him as if it was almost like a living legend, and it was a lot of fun. And then he regaled some stories from Who Dares Wins, from Gladiators. When he was a referee. And we had just a wonderful hour of Whit just telling stories. It was amazing. I learned a lot. But obviously I knew him from, I was a fan of his from a cricketing point of view, but just to see that other side of him. And it was a lot of fun, a great day. And he's a great guy. Keep in touch with him a bit. He's a lovely man.
I just remember over in India it was big. Who Dares Wins.
Huge, huge.
Yeah, so no, he had an amazing TV career as well with Sydney Weekender and everything. So just the gift of the gab.
Yeah, and I don't know, as I referred to him, like the New South Wales Merv Hughes, like people say that after the games every day we'd go out and have a few beers with the opposition and you'd learn a lot. Like by the time even I started, we were doing it each day, but I meant there wasn't as much mentoring, but he was definitely one, Mike Whitney, that passed on comments and just some little tips, particularly swinging the ball and reverse swing, which he had learned off Imran Khan, who'd played half a summer for New South Wales. But absolute legend, the big Whit. Hope you had a great birthday. Hey, boys, before we get into the Super 8 stage, just your quick reflections on the Aussie campaign, which really was a disaster. Andrew McDonald come out in the press and, he was on the back foot, trying to dismiss some of the claims that we didn't take it seriously. I've got no doubt they took it seriously. But in the end, there was injury concerns to key players. They took in injured players out of form. And then I don't think we got much out of that in the personnel. Like, I know there's 2 years till the next one, but I tell you what, I don't know how many of that team will be there in 2 years' time.
No, you're right there, Flam. It was nothing went right, and I don't think they prepared well. Selection was a bit iffy. You had Renshaw scoring 60 odd and then not playing the next game. Steve Smith, who had been in form in T20 at the end of the Big Bash, got added to it and didn't look like playing. We didn't have any of our big three quicks. Hazelwood, who's probably one of the best T20 bowlers going around. Starkey wasn't there. Cummins. So it was one of those things where, if you talk about preparation, selections, having the right personnel, you've got to question probably all of them.
Yeah, Flam, Pidge, I agree with that to an extent. I think preparation, yes, but I think the actual plan for the preparation was actually pretty sound. Because you think into the Ashes, then a lot of players had an opportunity to play BBL. Yep. And then go to Pakistan and play those 3 T20 games there in conditions that are going to be relatively similar to what are going to be in India and Sri Lanka. So I think that the plan was okay. The preparation wasn't great because there were, as you said, Pids, there were a number of injuries. So a few guys didn't actually go to Pakistan or weren't available for Pakistan, the likes of Nathan Ellis, Tim David. Glenn Maxwell was rested from that. And on the back of his poor form in the BBL. And then they turn up in Sri Lanka and India to play this. Tim David comes back from injury. Nathan Ellis come back from injury. The non-selection of Steve Smith, the backing of players that hadn't really done much to deserve those spots in the squad. Yes, they were backed by the selectors, which part of me, the coach in me, the selector in me likes that. But at the same time, sometimes you need to strike when the iron's hot. And the Steve Smith iron was boiling hot, and I think the selectors missed a trick there.
Yeah, certainly. And the 3 T20s in Pakistan sound fantastic, like you said, but we played horribly and took that into the tournament. I was talking to someone who was over there, not part of the touring group, and just said the pitches didn't deteriorate that much. it was almost like, we kept losing the toss and had to bat in the worst conditions. They didn't change that too much. So plenty to consider for the Aussies. What about the Super 8s? At this stage in Group 1, West Indies are on 2 points, South Africa 2 points, India and Zimbabwe 0. Group 2, England, great win overnight, are on 4 points. So they've qualified England.
Yeah.
New Zealand and Pakistan have shared a point with the washout. Sri Lanka is 0. Just your thoughts on the matches so far. In particular, we might even talk a bit about the game last night, and I think it's a significant one. Pretty good game overall, although there's sloppy fielding on both teams. But Harry Brook, the English captain, put himself to number 3, and he scored 100. And he dominated. He was the player of the match. So, can that be like a Mitch Marsh-inspired win a couple of T20 World Cups ago where the captain gets up in the top 3 and dominates? Because he showed once again he is an elite talent.
Yeah, you're right. Harry Brook, he is pretty special, but, you want him to deliver a little bit more often. And, you look at the two teams at the moment that seem to be really hitting their strides, England and South Africa. That game against India, South Africa really came out and dominated. But you can't write off the West Indies either. So, but yeah, that game last night, Harry Brook, England probably didn't start us. There was quite a few low scores. When you look, they chased down 164. They got 8 for 166. Brook gets 100 of them. Everyone else just chipped in. They weren't far away from probably getting knocked over there. I know they sort of lost a couple of wickets toward the end, but Shaheen Shah Afridi got forfeit. But yeah, there's a little bit of work to do with him. You never know how they're going. That first game against Sri Lanka, where it was a bit of a walk in the park from knocking them over for 95. They only got 146 themselves. So, but yeah, South Africa, West Indies are the one to me. The wicket themselves, it's the fast bowlers taking the wickets. They're the leading wicket takers when you go through the top wicket takers. So, yeah, I don't know how the pitches are playing over there. They're not sort of breaking up as much, and they're better, a bit like those pitches Australia played in Pakistan.
Yeah, I agree with your thoughts there, Pidge. I certainly think Brook moving himself to 3, I think that was on the insistence of Brendan McCullum. So that's a bit of a masterstroke on the back of, I think McCullum's actually said to Harry Brook, Pakistan's your team. You've scored a lot of runs against him in various formats. So just take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and go and do it. And he did exactly that. I'm still not convinced of England. Their batting hasn't been brilliant. They've managed to squeeze a few games, as Pidge alluded to. I'm in Pidge's in agreement with Pidge. The West Indies, they're looking really dangerous. I think no one expected them. They're probably my surprise packet for the tournament. I think Zimbabwe is everyone's surprise packet who made the Super 8. But the West Indies, for me, I think people were writing them off pretty early. They haven't played brilliant cricket over the last couple of years. But the way they're playing at the moment, and it's not one player that's doing all the work for them. They're having a number of contributors. So I think they're looking particularly dangerous. I mean, Pidge mentioned South Africa as well. I'm a huge fan. Their batting. You've got Tristan Stubbs, Davey Miller, Devol Brevis. You've got Quinny de Kock. You've got these sort of players. They're the markroom. I mean, they're quality. And then you've got the big Marco Jansen, the big left armer coming in and swinging the ball. He got 4 for against India the other day. And to ride on the theme of the seamers, Corbin Bosch picked up a couple of handy wickets as well. They've got Maharaj, one of the best spinners going around. I think they're a well-rounded team, South Africa. I said at the start of the tournament, I felt they were my favourites, and they've done nothing to suggest they shouldn't continue to be favourites in my eyes.
Yeah, it's interesting with South Africa. They went against India. That the pace played a big part, but it was the quick bowlers bowling off pace into the pitch that worked.
Yeah, most certainly. So again, it's just the way that they're going about it, I think, is absolutely brilliant. We talk about the fast bowlers in this tournament. I mean, Bumrah got 3 for 15 off 4 overs the other night, and I mean, just showing just how bloody good he is. Like, he's an absolute genius, isn't he? So good to watch. And there's been a number of seamers in this tournament that I think we've all been, really happy with. I think the pair of the Zimbabwean openers, Muzarabani and how do you pronounce Negarava? I think that's how you say his name. He's a lovely left-arm bowler.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, a lovely bowler. I think that's a really good opening combination. They complement each other well. They both bowl brisk. Muzarabani's a bit taller. I mean, he's bowling from about 220 centimetres. He's a giant of a man and just gets that uncomfortable bounce for batters. Pidge has talked about Josh Hazlewood's success in T20 cricket in recent times, just running in and hitting the pitch hard. Jasper Brummer running in, hitting the pitch hard. Muzarabani and Nagarava's doing the same things. They're just running in and hitting the pitch hard. The odd change of pace, they might get the ball to move off the straight, but it's actually just hitting that shoebox on a back of a length that's creating as many problems as any other delivery.
Yeah.
And just throwing some, Jofra Archer, it was funny watching that game and, they haven't really scored too much here. And he was filthy when he got out, which, he doesn't show a lot of emotions there. I went, he's going to become out red hot here. And he did. And he set the tone. And England's spin is working, but I agree. Butler and Salt got runs in the last game, but he's been out of form. So, Bethel, so potentially it could click, but you've got to be able to score runs. For the Windies, great to see Hetmore playing and scoring so many runs. I mean, his batting is he's like a baseballer, isn't he? Just his ability to find the boundary, go over the boundary. Power's been good to him. Joseph providing the pace for him, but their spin's good, isn't it, the West Indies? It's all a bit of a saying, that left arm balls and spinning. And Jansen from South Africa, he's just becoming one of the best cricketers in the world in all three formats.
Yeah, no, he is. He's a handy batsman.
With his handy batting as well.
Yeah, handy batsman. He's a big fella. I think he's got me covered. I think he's 6'6", 6'7". But yeah.
Oh no, I think he's tall. I think he's taller than that pitch. I think he's 6'9". Like, I think he's that tall, mate. He is big.
And for someone to bat like the way he does, he's a powerful hitter as well, but just bowls a heavy ball and gets that bounce. And he's done well. And just going back on South Africa, you think back, what was it, a couple of years ago, they decided they were going to focus on T20 cricket, and Test cricket wasn't as important. I think they sent a second team to New Zealand to play over there. Then somehow they made the World Test Championships and beat Australia as the best team to win that Test Championship. But the way they're playing their one-day cricket and the team they have, and we haven't really mentioned Kakisa Rabada, who I'm a big fan of. He's been a little quiet. Maybe he'll come good in the rest of the tournament. But Jansen 4 for, Maharaj 3 for. That's a big win against India. I think they just showed that they're a real danger. I think India will bounce back, but South Africa are probably the team to beat this tournament, nearly.
We need to talk about India as well, don't we, boys? Because their net run rate's so low. So they need to win and win well, don't you? And it hasn't been all clicking for them, is it? Not a lot of runs up the top. No one really dominating. So they got through the qualifying stage really well, but they're in that frame of mind, which sometimes isn't a bad frame of mind, just going, we've just got to win and we're also going to win well. So it's you don't think about any negatives, but they've really got to get going here.
Oh, they certainly have to get going. As you said, they have to win. They have to win well. They can do it. Sometimes a loss like that can just, get you to refocus, reassess. A bit of a banana skin. You park that. It's a loss. You can analyse it till the cows come home, and it won't change the fact that you've lost that game. What they need to do is just regroup, refocus. No, right, what we need to do. It's very simple. We need to win. We need to win well. I think they may have to rely on a result or two to go their way, but it's going to be a tricky one. So let's see where that lands. But certainly, South Africa, the West Indies are looking very good. We've talked about England. Pakistan are still, I suppose, in the hunt. Sri Lanka is still in the hunt. New Zealand.
We haven't mentioned New Zealand, have we?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure the Kiwis are progressing beyond the Super 8s. I think it's going to be a tough ask for them, to be honest.
They're always a dark horse, the Kiwis. But the problem with South Africa and West Indies, they're in the same group as India. So, yeah, it's.
I think India are in trouble. I think they're in a bit of trouble. And the reason I say that, it's not because they're not good enough. It's because South Africa and the West Indies are playing such good cricket. And their run rate. So West Indies' run rate is through the roof, as is South Africa's is very good as well. So India, they've got a bit of work to do.
Well, it'll come down to the match that India versus West Indies. You know, whoever wins that will probably go through. You know, I dare say South Africa, West Indies, South Africa should get up there. So really, it's going to come down to West Indies, India match.
Yeah.
So who's making the semi-finals then, boys? Group 1, there can be only two out of West Indies, South Africa and India. And Group 2, I'm assuming Zimbabwe don't make it. And Group 2's England, who are qualified. So there's one spot for New Zealand, Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
Yeah. I'm going Group 1. South Africa, for me, are a lock. They're in. And between West Indies and India, genuinely, it's a toss of the coin. I think on form, you probably have to say West Indies. But let's not write off India. I think when their backs to the wall, we know how they can play, and they're a bloody dangerous side. So let's see where that lands. But for the second group, for me, it's a little bit more clear cut. I think England are obviously through. It'll come down. There's a couple of scenarios for Pakistan need to beat Sri Lanka. And I think if they do that, I think it's going to make it hard for New Zealand. Sri Lanka or England beat Sri Lanka. England or New Zealand beat Sri Lanka, then things open up. But for me, I'm going to go England and Pakistan to progress through.
Yeah, I'm going South Africa.
Pidge.
Yeah, South Africa and India. You know, it's. I'm worried West Indies might be peaking a little bit soon, but I'm not sure about that. It'll come down to one match: India, West Indies, and India at home. They're going to be tough to beat. I'll probably I'll go India for the final. So South Africa, India, and England. As much as I'd love to say New Zealand, I dare say Pakistan might just creep in there.
Okay, I'll go the same. I'll go obviously South Africa and India, Group 1, and I'll go England and Pakistan. That'll be an awesome couple of semi-finals.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you come back in a couple of days, I can probably give you a clearer picture.
Well, one thing on the tournament, boys, just on that. It's very long. I don't think it can be this long going forward. There needs to be 2 games a night. They're only doing one a night in the Super 8 stages. I don't think the schedule getting busier will be able to have a 30-day T20 World Cup. They need to be playing 2 a night.
Well, we were having 3 games a day. We were having 3-day games a day during the group stages, and they had to with that many teams. But I agree with you, Flem. I think now that the Super 8s, you can have 2 games a night, no problem. This whole stuff about teams not being able to play consecutive days or only one game every 4 days, I think it's absolute nonsense. You can play. I mean, we play 5-day Test cricket, for God's sake. We play 50-over cricket. T20 games, yes, they are. The intensity is a little bit higher, but I've got no doubt they can play 2 days in a row. It's not that much of a stretch, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, we'll see how New Zealand goes because... they've had a washout, so they haven't played for a while. I can't remember when their last game was, so whether that is a benefit or a hindrance.
I think it's a hindrance in white ball cricket. You want to just get on a roll and get going there. So, Diz, was that an early give me a spell? Because we haven't got there yet.
It wasn't an early give me a spell. I can add it in if you want. But look, all good. I'll say.
Refer to it again. We need to mention one of our great little sponsors here, VB, and they have the Longneck Hard Working Award, generally for fast bowlers who we know are the cricketers in every team that have to sweat more, run more, 10 times their body weight goes through their body with each delivery. I reckon it's up to you, Pidge, to award the VB Longneck Award for this episode.
Yep. So the VB Golden Long Neck Award presented by VB for the hardest working fast bowler. Over 18s only. Make sure you drink responsibly. But just going through, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's been the fast bowlers that have done the more damage. And you look at the top sort of 3 fast bowlers, just for wicket takers, and it's interesting, that there was the one there, I think, let me pronounce his name correctly, old Shadley Van Schalkwyk, who played for the USA. He was taking 4-fers I know he was born in Cape Town in South Africa, but he took 13 wickets in this tournament at 7.78. Marco Jansen, as well, we touched on 11 wickets at 12.18. But I'm giving my Golden VB Long Neck Award to Blessing Mazarabani. How do we say? Mazarabi. Mazarabani. I'll get it right in a minute. So sorry.
We'll edit that out, Pidge.
Yeah, so Mazarabani, 11 wickets at 10.27. So he gets the Golden Long Neck Award from me, if I can actually talk properly.
Mate, it's a great effort from him, isn't it? Like, good pace. He's getting wickets, but his economy rate's low as well. He's sort of doing everything.
Well, he's a big follower as well, as Diz mentioned, so just hits the deck hard. And in India, you think the wicket's going to sort of turn square and sort of break up as the game goes on. So, good effort by the big fella there.
Well done, Pidge. That is the BB Golden Long Neck Award. Okay, that leads us into our next segment, and I reckon you just had a little warm-up about 5 minutes ago, Jason Gillespie. It is, of course, your Give Me a Spell.
Thanks, Pidge. Thanks, Flem. Thanks, Pidge. A couple of things got me going over the last week or so, and I've got one thing involved with cricket, but I've also got one. I'm just pivoting to a different sport, but I'll get to that in a second. But first one for me, it's very simple. Our old mate, Piers Morgan, mocking Australia's exit from the World T20. His tweet out there, my thoughts are with Cricket Australia at this very difficult time. Piers, you're insufferable. Still struggling to get over the 4-1 loss in the Ashes, mate. Just cut it out, mate. Give me a spell. Give me a spell. Like a nonsense. Piers Morgan, give me a break. Right. Now, just pivoting to another sport, I saw something that actually disturbed me, boys. I was a bit disappointed to see this. Collingwood Football Club asking elderly members via letters to make donations in their wills. Are you kidding me? Yes, clubs have processes for when, people pass away and they want to leave some money to their beloved club, but they actually go and actively seek it by writing letters to people. People could be feeling unwell. They could be in a nursing home. They could be in hospital unwell, and they just get this random letter from Collingwood Football Club asking to give them money when they cark it. Give me a spell, Magpies. Nonsense. You don't do that crap. Give me a spell.
Give me a spell. Imagine if you're not feeling well and you get that letter and you go, do they know something I don't know?
Yeah, exactly right. We're all over 50 now. Imagine if we were members of Collingwood, we're getting a letter in the post. So, by the way, if you're about to cark it, can you just part with a bit of the hard-earned for, in your will for the club, please? Yeah, give me a spell, boys. What nonsense.
Give me a spell.
Brilliant, Tiz. Brilliant. My favourite part of the show, Flem, that one.
Oh, it's good. And you did get in those consecutive games too for T20 cricket.
Yeah,
that's
consecutive
the
games.
third one.
Come on, boys. Come on, just get on with it.
Let's get going. Give me a spell.
Very good. We
I
might have
love
to.
it.
We
I
might have
love
to do a whole show as one time as Dizzy, give me a spell. It reminds me, when you're feeling a bit flat, you jump online, you type in Inzamama runouts, and you see 45 minutes of Inzi getting run out. It's brilliant stuff. You can type in Dizzy, give me a spell, and watch 45 minutes of Diz just giving it to people. Happy days.
How long did it take Inzi to walk off when he got out of LBW as
Oh,
well?
mate. Well, I can't remember.
brilliant.
Pips, I think I hit him in the foot in Headingley, and when he knew he couldn't get there, he sort of looked up at the umpires going, oh, well, I can't run, or you know what I mean? He was pleading to the umpire not to give him out.
And he didn't get out. He burnt Wazzy, and that one was okay.
And I told you, I haven't told that Inzi story, have I? About when I actually, first time I spoke to him. So we're in the commentating the Pakistan Super League a few years ago, and I got a bit hungry. You're commentating. We're in Dubai Sharjah Stadium. So I walked through to see if I could find some food, look over, and there's Inzi. Okay. Now, I played 3 Test series, 3 one-day series, 2 World Cups against Inzi, and we didn't share one word. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I look at him, I go, would he even remember me? Do you know what I mean? And we heard he didn't speak a lot of English, and we loved the way he played and how slow he ate. Remember how slow Inzi would eat? But he was a bit of a folk hero, wasn't he, within the team for his cricketing brilliance and then his funny runouts. So he looks at me but nods approval, and then we start to have a little bit of a chat, and he was the chairman of selectors of Pakistan at that time. So he asked me about their quicks, and I think Sheen Afridi had just debuted at 17 in this Pakistan Super League, so I'm on Afridi and a couple more. All of a sudden, a few people started coming in, more and more. All of a sudden, there's about 80 people in this room, right? And I'm going, what's going on here? And a cake comes out, and it's Inzi's 50th birthday, right? So I'm in the middle of a birthday presentation for Inzi, and then when the person puts the birthday cake down, he looks around, they see me, and they go, Fleming, a few words. So now I'm speaking. I haven't spoken to him before. I'm talking to him. Now I'm speaking at his 50th birthday party.
Did you keep it short, or did you punch out 10 minutes?
No, it's like, Inzi, what can you say about Inzi? Really generic, great player. Then I got my slice of cake and walked into the commentary box going, did that really just happen?
That's brilliant.
Now, does he ring you, or do you ring him on his birthday these days?
Yeah, probably. We haven't spoken since. Where are you, Ins? All right, talking about Ins being one of the greatest batsmen that I was fortunate or unfortunate to bowl to. Time to do another top 5. This time I want us to focus on our top 5 T20 batsmen of all time. I'm going to focus just purely on international. Not sure about you, Pidge. Diz, you lead us off again because you are the metrics guy. Explain your metrics and then who have you gone for?
Yeah, so Flem, thanks, mate. I've looked at T20 across everywhere. So all franchise cricket, international, domestic, T20, all over the world. And I've come up with, I didn't realise just how many runs have been scored, how many games have been played. There's one player.
So tell us.
735 games one batter has played.
No.
T20 cricket, right? I'll get to that. But a couple of mentions. So I've gone the metric. I use a combination of strike rates and averages to come up with, my metric and, the players that I feel are most effective. And mine are guys who regularly bat in the top 5 for me is my metric. So I've gone with that. I've got a couple of guys, special mentions. So I just want to mention Andre Russell and Glenn Maxwell, two players that have scored lots and lots of runs, best part of 10,000 runs each. Andre Russell, an average of 26 in T20 cricket, but a strike rate of, would you believe, 167 in T20 cricket worldwide from, get this, 590 games. Now, bear in mind, is an all-rounder, bowled as well. Glenn Maxwell averaging 27 and a half, but a strike rate of 154. And Maxie's played over 500 games. So I wanted to mention those two guys who are just outside of my my best players. But to give you my top five, this guy played 463 games, has the most runs in T20 history anywhere around the world, averaged 36, strike rate 144, is the great West Indian Chris Gale, is my number five.
Yeah.
Number four, this guy, current player, has played 490 games, an average of 35, strike rate of 146, is playing in this World Cup. He probably hasn't had his best World Cup, but my number four of all time is Josh Butler from England. My number three has played, would you believe, I mentioned 735 T20 games around the world with an average of 31.62 and a strike rate of 150.96. And that is another West Indian from Trinidad, Kyron Pollard, who's played a bit in the Big Bash as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, very, very good. Now, my number two, this guy, probably known as a bit of a unicorn in cricketing circles, 340 games, averaged 37, strike rate of 150, has a strike rate of over 130 against minimum against every single type of bowler that's played in T20 cricket history. So this guy, wonderful cricketer, AB de Villiers is my number two. And my number one, again, a current player, and this might surprise a couple of people, but the metrics are really clear. This guy is, I think, has slid under the radar a little bit, playing T20 around the world. He played 356 games of T20 cricket. He's got an average of 35.46, but an unbelievable strike rate of 152.62. He is the Indian captain, Suryakumar Yadav, is my number one player.
Wow. Yeah.
And he just shaves a couple of those other wonderful players based on the metrics that I've worked to. So that's my top five, boys. And there's some wonderful players that have actually missed out, like the Virat Kohlis, David Millers, Nicholas Puran, Riley Rousseau's numbers are unbelievable. David Warner's numbers are fantastic. But you go on those metrics and these guys stand out compared to others.
That's brilliant. I can't believe the amount of games, Pidge,
Yeah.
that they've played.
No, exactly.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. Well, it's been, when you think about T20, it's when it started and when the IPL started back in 2008. That's 18 years ago. So there's still a fair bit of time to get a few games under the belt. My favourite stat there was AB de Villiers, how he averaged, strike rate of 130 against every time. How do you find all this stuff? Do you just make it up, or do you actually? You've got a thing and you type it all in.
Against left arm spin, right arm spin, leg spin, wrist spin, left armers, right armers. I've done my research, boys. Done my research. He's seen as the unicorn.
What about
he can strike.
What about left arm wrist spinners, wrong uns? How's he go against them?
Over 130. Over 130
in the month of April.
Yeah,
in the month of April
after 4:00 in the afternoon. So my
come on, Pidge.
Mine's not quite the same. I went the same with you, Flem. I went international matches, and it's surprising how many international matches some of these guys have played. A couple of special mentions. I've got to mention, Chris Gale, as you said, Davey Warner, David Miller, Butler, AB de Villiers, who I just think's a class player. Yeah. I've said before, it's not fair to have someone like AB who's just bloody brilliant at every single thing he does on and off the field. It makes the rest of us look pretty average. But there is a special mention to Watto, Shane Watson. I think when IPL first started, Rajasthan Royals won, and I reckon the big factor in that was Watto. When Watto scored runs, they won. When he didn't, they lost, and he had a great tournament. So Watto's stats there. But because I focused on international only, a lot of these guys probably didn't play enough matches to get in there. So my number five, And there's a couple of reasons why I threw this guy in at number 5. One, he's Australian, so you had to have an Aussie in there. But he's also got the highest, I think one of the highest T20 scores and the highest strike rate. He does frustrate me a bit because he can be a world beater and then go out and get out, for nothing. His conversion rate is unbelievable. I've seen him run down the pitch, leave the first ball, and lose his middle stump. So I think that's given it away in Glenn Maxwell. He's played 130 T20 matches for Australia, 2,897 runs, average 28.97. That's where he lets himself down a bit. I think his average should be higher. Strike rate 154.4, high score of 145 not out. But this one, 500s, only 12 50s. So his conversion rate there is second to none. So that's why I threw him in at number 5. Number 4 is Baba Azan from Pakistan. The reason I put him in there is he's got the most T20 runs and international level, 145 matches, 4,596 runs, average of 38.94, strike rate a bit over 128, high score of 122, 300s and 39 50s. So he gets in at number 4. Number 3 for me is Mohammad Rizwan, again from Pakistan. The reason I've put him in, he's only played 106 matches, scored 3,414 runs, but his average of 47.41 at T20 cricket is pretty decent. There's only 2 guys that average in the high 40s in out of the whole list. Strike rate 125, high score of only 104, 30 50s. Number 2 is probably the guy that's played the most T20s for their country out of anyone, and that's Rohit Sharma. A great white ball cricketer. He's got more 200s than anyone in sort of in one-day cricket, but he's played 159 matches, 4,231 runs, average of 32.05. So down a little bit on Rizwan and also my number 1. Strike rate 140, high score of 121 not out, but 500s. Again, he just scores big in everything he does in the white ball cricket, 32 50s. And then my number 1, I guess, can only be number 1 when it comes to T20 cricket for their country, and that's Virat Kohli. He's played 125 matches for India, 4,188 runs, but an average of 48.69 for T20 cricket. It's incredible. 137 strike rate, 122 not out is his highest test score. Only 100, which was a little bit interesting, 38.50. So, but a strike average of nearly 50 every time he walks out to play T20 cricket for your country is pretty exceptional. So that's my top 5 T20 batsmen, Flem.
Yeah, we're going to have some different opinions here, which is really good. The unlucky players, you've either picked them or mentioned them. Probably only Aaron Finch from Australia, and T20 captain as well. Finn Allen, New Zealand, and Marty Guptill was fairly good.
Martin Guptill, very, very good player, yeah.
Yeah. So number 5 for me, Rohit Sharma, the volume king, the power play monster, strike rate of 140 plus. So he just got India off to flyers. And if there's a couple of shots, I just love that pickup shot through the leg side. It's sort of a swivel pull off the quicks of deliveries that aren't that short. And then so many times then he'd get the over pitch ball outside of stump to cover drive, and he's a brilliant cover driver. So just a star, Rohit Sharma. Number 4, Josh Buttler. Struggling for runs in this T20 World Cup, but he's been crucial in a couple of T20 World Cup wins for England back in 2022. Even though he didn't top score, he got them going in the chase. Just explosive, isn't it? 360, strike rate of 149 in T20 cricket. Great intent, can accelerate through, good against pace and spin. So Josh Butler's number 4 for me. 3, you mentioned him, I think, Diz. It's Shirokuma Yadav. Once again, a 360-degree player, captaining India, so he got a lot of pressure. Strike rate of over 160. What?
Yeah.
That's just insane. Power down the ground, but then ramps and scoops and switches. Thrives on pace in the middle order. So he forces you to bowl spin then. I think really smart, particularly in chases. Number 2, I've changed it up a bit. I've gone Glenn Maxwell, because all the other guys are opening or number 3. That's the easiest spot to bat. I think batting in the middle order, hence the shorter average, strike rate of 154, 500s equal with Rohit Sharma at international level, but Rohit opens. Maxi's been able to find a way into that middle order, just a destroyer of pace and spin, really. Particularly spin, been important for Australia in the subcontinent in those middle overs and finishing up. And there can be only number 1. It's King Kohli, isn't it? Average 48, like you said, Pidge. Decent strike rate of 137. The ultimate chaser too, isn't it? Which can hurt his strike rate a bit because he just wants to win the game. Just a classic cover driver. Great player of spin as well. And also in the 2024 final, 78 off 59 balls against South Africa for a win. So he's done it to win a World Cup T20 final. So that's my 5, boys. So some bit more variety, I reckon, there than the fast bowlers that we picked last episode.
Well, I like the variety, boys. I think it's, we're all like focusing on slightly different things. I mean, you guys went purely international. I looked at all around the world, and my metrics probably rewarded strike rates as much as anything. But a lot of these guys in my list were averaging in the mid to high 30s as well. So yeah, but that is in different conditions, again, in all different tournaments against different bowlers. But yeah, I think each of us have come up with 5 pretty wonderful players, to be perfectly honest. They've all done exceptionally well for whatever teams they've played for. And it's it's great. It creates debate, creates discussion. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of discussion in the comments section of this video. But I look forward to reading all those and what our viewers and listeners think about our lists.
Yeah, no, very good, Diz, and I agree. Some great different ways to look at T20 cricket and batsmen who, we have to talk about them every now and then, I guess. But there's one guy that I thought maybe Flem might have mentioned. He played 163 matches for his country, scored nearly 4,000 runs, high score of 115, average of 26. It could have been a little better, but a strike rate of 134. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, which country?
From the powerhouse world of cricket, my ancestry country, Ireland. So Paul Sterling.
I'd go
Sterling.
John Smith.
No, Paul Sterling. So 163 matches for his country, and he's actually number 5 on the all-time list of run scorers for T20 cricket internationally.
It's a great effort. It's a great effort. My only issue there is, and he can't control that, is they often play other minnow. Not that Ireland's a minnow, but that can pump it up a little bit too. But no, good research from you, Pidgey. So, hey, boys, that's it from this episode. Now, when are you guys? You're going off to help other countries, aren't you? Pidge, you're off to the MRF, and Diz, you're off to the coach in the PSL. When's all that happening, boys?
Yeah, no, I'm off to another stint over at MRF Pace Foundation in Chennai. So heading off on the 1st of March. So head over there for a couple of weeks. So it's a bit like the second home for me over there. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've got my next commitment, boys, is I'm commentating the Shield match for CA. South Australia versus New South Wales at Carrick Oval starting on the 5th of March. And then I'll be heading over a couple of days after that. I'll be heading over to Pakistan with the Hyderabad Houston Kingsmen in the PSL, so which will be a lot of fun. Got a good support staff there, and a good group of players. We've just signed Glenn Maxwell on a multi-year deal, which is really exciting. So looking forward to linking up with Maxie again. I've worked with him when I was coaching Yorkshire, so looking forward to working with him again.
And what are you up to, Flem?
Well, I'm going to watch the Vicks in the Shield final because they've already qualified. I think there's about 3 rounds left in that. The Vicks already qualified.
Yeah, all right.
Got the home final.
Yeah, well played. Well
I might even go there now. Still 3 weeks to go. I'm going to work on my golf. All right, boys.
Lovely to see you, boys.
They're finishing up there. That was the Fast Bowling Cartel.